Hey y'all, I just wanted to, I look a hot mess. I look thrown away. Not like I don't look thrown away in my other videos, but I had an event yesterday and I had my hair pulled up, and I'm about to get ready to bleach it. But anyway, um, I just wanted to pop on real quick and give like a quick update on my Cerclage recovery and things like that. So, on my last video, I left off, we were home, of course, but we just continued on everything. I did see my nurse practitioner the day after the Cerclage. She absolutely did absolutely nothing. Like, she came in, she just basically said that she wasn't gonna check me, especially because it was only the day after surgery, which was understandable. So um we she asked if I was how I was feeling, and I just told her, of course, I still had pain and things like that. And they told me to mention the contractions that I had after the surgery. Mention that, and so she was like, "Okay, well, which I think she had already made the decision, but she was like, I would rather." She said she would feel more comfortable sending my care to a actual physician. So that was it. Like, she told us to walk with her to the front and schedule an appointment with the physician. She asked me which clinic I would prefer to go to. So yeah, we walked to the front. We scheduled the appointment, and I asked her. I said, "Will someone call me about a follow up? Would I get a follow up with MFM, or should I just call them?" And she told me, "Yeah, just call them, and they will schedule whatever they need to schedule for you." Because initially I was assuming that I was going to either follow up with her, because I'm pretty sure she would have done my follow ups if I wanted her to, but being that she said she felt more comfortable with, especially my history, and then on top of me having to get emergency cerclage, she wanted to transfer me to a physician, which I understood, which is understandable, and which I'm really grateful for. If she felt like I needed that much more attention. However, the appointment wasn't scheduled for. They didn't have anything until 3 weeks later. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, if they're not going to see me until another 3 weeks, then someone else has to be offering. Like, I would think MFM, since they're the one that caught everything and they're the one that sent me to get the cerclage, they would at least do the follow up. But I got nothing. And so I did start to have the pressure, the tightening, and everything. I started having that some more. Um, And so I had messaged the new office because I'm like, well, I was in between care. So I'm like, I don't even know who I'm supposed to message at this point if I have any problems. So I was like, well, let me just go ahead and message the new clinic. That way we can always go ahead and establish, you know, communication and things like that. So I sent the message to the new clinic asking about a particular test result. The girl that was messaging me just asked slow. I don't know what it was, but I had told her some issues that I was having, and things like that. And pretty much at the end of the conversation, I just told her, I did mention a follow up, and she said that it wasn't standard. They don't do follow ups, and I just kind of looked like, "What you mean y'all don't do follow ups?" Because I'm like, if I did have to go to the emergency room somewhere, if I had to get checked in, um, if anything was to happen, how am I supposed to know? I don't have a reference as to because even the doctors didn't come in after the cerclage and explain anything as far as, okay, your cerclage is, they did good. I mean, I know it did good, but like, it's at a such and such link now. It's closed, blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff. Like, I didn't get any of that, so I don't even know what my length is right now. I don't know what it was after surgery. So if I was to go in, I can't give them anything. Like, I don't know where we were at that point to even be able to tell if I have any changes. So that was kind of mind boggling to me and kind of just irritating me because I'm a type of person, I need to know everything. Because the same thing happened with my first pregnancy, whereas I was in the hospital now. I was admitted, I was there for weeks, 7 weeks at this point. And the day before I went into spontaneous labor with my son, I told one of the nurses, I'm like, my mucus plug just came out. She was like, oh no, that's not your mucus, blah, blah, blah. And I'm telling her, this is my mucus plug. I'm feeling light contractions and, this kind of stuff. And so I ended up telling another nurse come in, and she was like, okay, well, we'll get the on-call doctor to check you. When the doctor checked me, she was like, oh, you're still at a 2 centimeter. And I'm like, still at a 2. And so I looked at the nurse that was standing beside the bed, and she looked at me. She was like, and we said at the same time, I was like, I was never dilated. And so things like that kind of just trigger me, because when I don't know personal information for myself, like things that I should know, or even a doctor should know, if that nurse wouldn't have been standing there and I had not known that I wasn't already, I was still closed, then they would have just blew me off. And so I would have been just, although I was in the hospital, they would have noticed because I was monitored, but they would have just blew me off and wouldn't have said anything. Or it just been like the first nurse, oh, ain't nothing wrong with you, and blah, blah, blah. And so, I felt good that I could really speak up for myself in that moment to tell her, even the doctor, like, I was never dilated. So you're saying still at a 2. I was never dilated. So why would you say I'm still at a 2? So now it makes me, um, even more concerned now that I don't know anything about my length, because if I go in and I'm at a 2.5, 2.6, I can't tell them, well, my cervix is still shortening, because I don't know what my status was after the surgery, if you get what I'm saying. So it's going to be hard for me to just advocate for myself, in a sense. But other than that, the nurse did tell me that I was talking to through the portal at the new clinic. She was ended up telling me if I had any problems, just go to call them and let them know, and they'll see me, or I can go to urgent care. At that point, I told her, I was like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Just make sure you know all of my pains and things that I'm telling you that I had in my chart, that I'm having. I need you to note it in my chart. And if I feel like something is going on, I will go to urgent care. I'm not even going to bother you, because first of all, it took y'all all day to answer the phone. I mean, to message me back, which, can't really say anything about, because it's pretty much for non-emergent. But at the same time, you're telling me to contact y'all, but half the time the phones, you can't get through the phones, and it take y'all too long to answer me. So I was like, I'll just go to urgent care. I'm not even gonna deal with you. So I think something ended up going on, and I did end up going to urgent care 1 or 2 times. The second time I went was last Friday. She said that my cervix was still closed, and I was I had some discharge, and some of it looked like it could have been yeast. So she said she would rather give me something at that moment than not, based on my history. So she gave me a Rocephin shot, and also sent me home with some diflucan to take. And of course, you guys know that I've been doing the progesterone, the vaginal progesterone. So I've been doing that. I started that 2 days after the surgery, because I didn't want to start it directly after. Only thing with that, like, I can feel my stitch when I insert, and that's very uncomfortable. Most nights I have a lot of cramping afterwards. Most days I have, every day I'm having pelvic floor pain, which was the same. I have sharp pulling pains every now and then in my cervical area, and baby is still moving around, kicking around, flipping. He'll come up sometimes, and then other times he'll go back down low into my pelvis. Not He's not up that much. I say he. So I don't like I still don't know the gender, but I always say he. But baby is still majority of the times in my pelvis. I've had a bout of I've had nausea off and on since the Cerclage. Actually, a little before when I started having the tightening. I think everything that was contributing to my cervix opening and shortening, things like that. It was around the few weeks right before, and when I took my diflucan this past Monday, I had some nausea and I actually did vomit that day. And I've come to find that my nausea is more of pain induced nausea. So it's not like the normal morning sickness or things like that. It happens when the baby is in a certain position and either I'm having tightenings or I'm having this pain in a certain area in my pelvis or in my lower stomach. That's when I get the nausea. Like the pain will hit, the nausea will hit, and that particular day I did throw up. The other days I didn't, but that happens quite. I'm not gonna say it happens at least maybe two times a week. So I'm not sure exactly what that is about. I did mention it to urgent care when I was there, but they didn't say anything about it. So I'm not sure exactly what that's about. This week I've also had, along with the pain-induced nausea, I've also had a little vaginal itching, which I thought was yeast, but it might be. I was reading, I saw that where if you don't insert the progesterone all of the way, it could come out and irritate you. I don't know. Um, but I kind of figured it was more of the yeast that she had mentioned to me before, and it was just clearing up, or I don't know. But it only did that for a couple of days, and I haven't had it since because, like I said, I could feel my stitch, so it kind of stops me from inserting it. Where I usually go high up, like with the stitches, like I can feel it like this much, this far in. But I was gonna say TMI, but y'all, if y'all watching this, then y'all know what y'all in for. But anyway, also this week, what I said, I had nausea, vomiting, the itching, but it's gone away. Because I do have to watch for infections, because it'll be bad if I do get one. I think that's pretty much it. I just have been trying to make it to 24 weeks, and I did make it. Today I am 24 weeks in 2 days. It's Sunday, so it's been 3.5 weeks. Let me see. I think 3.5 weeks since 1, 2. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong. Wait, 1, 2. No, it's been 2.5 weeks since surgery. So yeah, I like I said, I don't know. This week my appointment is in my next appointment is on Friday. I'm going to make sure that I let her know that I am about business when it comes to my care, and if she can't be that doctor for me, if she can't be the a doctor who will actively listen and accept the things that I want and need, then I can't be under her care, because yeah, I had to fight to get the care that I just had for myself. Luckily, I had like my primary and my nurse practitioner who helped me fight to get seen with the hematologist and the MFM. Otherwise, and to the other MFM who blew me off. I'm glad that I didn't see her. Y'all took everything in me not to go to her and be like, oh, so I'm not high risk. But anyway, yeah, so it's like I had to fight that much to get to where I was. Now I'm just gonna have to fight to make sure that the rest of my pregnancy goes um to plan. And so y'all, let me tell you another thing. When I was the second time that I went to urgent care, and it might have been the only time, I don't know. But when they gave me the Rocephin shot, before I left, one of the, I don't know who she was to be honest, but she came in. It was a older white lady, and she came in and she said, and I'm not saying older as in like 60s, 70s, but she's older than me. And she was like she pulled the curtain back and was like talking before she even got in. She was like, "Girl, you scare us with your history." And I was looking strange because I didn't know what she was gonna like. I didn't know who she was. She wasn't the doctor who I had been speaking with. And I was like, I just kind of relaxed. My shoulders kind of relaxed. I'm like, okay, finally someone. Let me see what she's gonna talk about. So she was like, "You are exactly the person who this hospital is for, who this urgent care is for." And she was like, "You're the exact person." And I was like, "Are you serious?" And like, I'm sorry, y'all, the sun is moving. If y'all can't tell, I'm still in the same spot. But I was like, I felt relieved that, like, I don't know how much of my history that she knew or had seen, but it couldn't have been that much. But just based off what had been happening the last few weeks, she was just inclined to come and let me know that she told me, she said, luckily, even though things look good today, she was like, "I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's something simple. I don't care what you feel like." She said, "If you feel something, then I want you to come here." She said, "You need to be here." She said, "If even if you feel like it's nothing," she said, "I need you here." Because the whole time they kept asking me, the other doctor and nurses kept asking me, "Do you want any Tylenol?" So you're basically here just to get checked. And I kept telling them like, "Yeah, but no, I don't need any Tylenol. Like I have a high pain tolerance. I'm not hurting that bad." And I'm telling y'all, a lot of times I have painless contractions, which is what led me to short cervix and it opening. Like I don't feel that. So it's like, I don't need Tylenol. Like they kept bugging me, like as if they were trying to see if I was fake. And I kept saying like, "But y'all must think I'm lying about having pain." Like I get some people come to the emergency room just to see their babies and stuff like that, but that wasn't the case for me. Like I, I don't know. Like I don't know. I didn't understand what he was trying to get at. I think he was just, because he pretty much, like, he flat out asked me, he was like, "Oh, so okay, so you're here just for reassurance." And I was kind of like, "Yeah," but at the same time, I kept telling him, "I've been having pain. It's not consistent enough to take anything for me. And I'm not going to take medicine to mask the issue. Like, y'all going to check me to see what's going on." But anyway, so when she came in, she was like, "Yeah, pretty much just saying whatever it is, whatever you feel, whatever you don't feel, whatever you want to do, you need to be here." So I was like, she made me feel so much better. And I really want to cry in her face, y'all. And but I held it back. And when I left, I was like, man, I should have gave her the biggest hug I could have given anyone, because I finally had someone that, even and if she didn't care, she put on a good front, because like she came and sat on my bed right in my face. So I was just really grateful that I had her to say that. So And even the other nurse that backed her up, they were, really, really nice. They was just basically saying, yeah, whatever you need, we are here. This hospital is for you, like people like you. So, um, I felt really good after that. Like that just made it all the better. So next, I'm just, like I said, I'll be going to my new OB physician this time on Friday the 7th, October 7th. And um, I'm going to tell them to check me. I'm not going to ask like y'all going to check me to see what's going on because I don't need nobody telling me, oh, you are this. Nuh-uh. But other than that, I had, like I said, my symptoms and things like that, my new cravings I've been having. I have been having cravings for caramel frappe from Starbucks, but I have been making my own. And it was something else at one point, like last week, but I couldn't figure it. I can't remember what it was, so it didn't last long because right now I just eat what I can. But that's pretty much it, y'all. Like I said, my recovery and everything is fine. I still have a lot of pain in my pelvis, but that's just, I think just my pregnancies and everything moving faster than it should. So they didn't put me on bed rest. So I'm just doing modified. They told me not to lift my children, nothing heavy, strenuous activity, none of that. Pelvic rest, just the basics. So, but no strict bed rest or modified bed rest, no bed rest at all. But other than that, I will do a bump shot because I haven't been doing that. Mind my wig back there, y'all. I'm gonna braid it. Oh, so here is this side. So, Maj, watch your mouth. And y'all, another thing that I noticed while everything was going on was I noticed my stomach dropping at one point because I was getting big, and then I was like, because I would walk by the mirror and I noticed it's like I was getting smaller. I'm like, how is my stomach getting smaller? And this was right before everything happened. I'm like, how is everything getting smaller? But then we come to realize that baby had dropped into my pelvis. Was head down at this point and was in my pelvis. So sometimes I look like I dropped, and sometimes the baby comes out and pops out. But I had a growth spurt actually the week in the 24th week. So now I'm noticing that I'm getting a little bigger. We're having to watch my fluid. Like I have a lot of fluid or discharge. Oh, one day, y'all, a couple of days ago, and I tried to look this up, but it felt like a whole bunch of bubbles coming out of my cervix. And I was like, and it wasn't a little bit, it was like a whole fart. It could have came out my cervix, and I was scared because I'm like, why is the air coming out? Like I had been feeling bubbles for a while, but it was only like every few days and just a tad bit. But this particular day, it was like a whole gush. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So, that was a weird symptom or weird happening. So other than that, that's all of the symptoms and happenings that's been going on for the last 2.5 weeks. I did go through a bad mental breakdown, disassociative breakdown, whatever you want to call it. I will talk about that in another video. It was, yeah, it was terrible. I ain't gonna say pretty bad. It was terrible, terrible. And I feel like I'm not gonna say enough people don't talk about it, but it's just something that I want to talk about because a lot of outside people don't realize that pregnant women may go through things like this. But and I'm happy that I don't know. I will talk about that. So yeah, I did my bump shot, and like I said, I'm 24 weeks and 2 days today. It is Sunday, October 2nd, and it's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month and Pregnancy and Infant Loss Month. So I may do a couple of things because I do something every year for the month. And like I said, I was in a bad mental space, so I had not. It literally never crossed my mind that it was here, that October was here, that what month awareness month it is, and things like that. It was just I was bad off, so I'm starting to come out of it now. But we will. I will be doing some things. I'm about to record a video in a few of me doing some things to represent this month's awareness. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.